welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, India's only daily television platform for small businesses. We bring you the right information to empower you, the SME entrepreneur. On this special series, BSE presents SME Success Stories. We're bringing you India's most innovative businesses and ideas. Two such companies in focus tonight. First up is Global Space, and on the other side of a short break, Iris Business Solutions is in focus. It's not very often that we talk to a listed company which is in the pure play tech space, but we are in conversation with one tonight. Global Space is a listed tech company that works very closely in future technologies. I spoke to them about finding the right people who understand such future technologies, as well as what some of the expansion plans are. Listen. Krishna, thank you very much for speaking with us here on the show and really talking about your business. First of all, we don't speak very often to SMEs which are listed, so congratulations on the listing, and we'll come and talk about that. But I want to take a step back and talk about Global Space, talk about your company, what your journey has been very briefly. What do you want our viewers to know about it?
Thanks for having me here. And Global Space Technology was incepted almost 8 years back. Primarily, we wanted to be a tech company when we started, and it has been an evolution for Global Space per se. When we started, we wanted to focus on Salesforce enablement, build technology solutions for Salesforce, and with a specific focus on healthcare per se. And from there we kept evolving our solution, and we built something for pharma sales reps. From there we thought, why not cover the entire ecosystem? So we went and created tech solution for pharma channel. Then doctors being the integral part and the most important part of healthcare ecosystem, we built solution for doctors. And today as we speak, basically we are on a 360-degree health tech proposition from our consumers' perspective. And as far as Global Space goes, we've been since our inception, we've been focusing on innovation and growing our business in the tech and health space. One of the primary thing is that since we understand the domain well, and we can figure out that how technology can be leveraged to do things better to benefit the end consumer. That has been the key point for Global Space. And last year we did get ourselves listed on.
So you describe yourself as a health tech company. You say you're in the health tech space versus most companies which say they look at med tech. So are there any differences that our viewers should know about? And plus, you're saying that this is an industry perhaps which not a lot of people have really studied. So as someone who's been in this space, as a leader in this space, what are the opportunities specifically for businesses? You started this interview by saying, you know, we decided to look at doctors because that's the sort of subsection of this market that really needs technology, but where are the specific opportunities?
So I'll give you some data points which would interest you, and it's kind of available freely. See, if you look at doctor-patient ratio in India, I think 1:1700 is the ratio. But what is more interesting is that almost 80% of this doctor population is centered around cities. And our population is there in the tier 2 and tier 3 and the rural market. Now when we say that the doctor-patient ratio is 1:1700, in reality it is even worst, because for the majority of the population your ratio might be as abysmal as 1:4000 or 4500. So you have tremendous pressure on the healthcare providers, wherein it would be a very common scene if you go to any rural market that one good doctor seeing more than 150, 200 patients. Now it's very difficult for a human mind to do justice to so many patients, and that's kind of that's not right from an overall ecosystem perspective. So with technology you can create a platform which can kind of bridge these gaps with the given.
So you're saying that rural India perhaps
Yeah.
is where the biggest opportunity lies, and that's echoed by many of your peers as well. Are you present right now in markets outside of cities? Outside
Yes,
of metros?
absolutely.
Sure.
So we see, as I told you, as an organization, Global Space, we started working with the pharma companies to start with. We had our own share of learnings there, and then we moved to the, I would say, pharma channel. So, I mean, if I look at healthcare per se, you have two critical parts. One is the healthcare provider, other is the medicines. And in both the segments, we are kind of approaching in a very different manner, and we want to reach out to the tier 2 and tier 3 markets in both the segments.
Okay.
When we are building our platform, software product platform, we are adhering to all the global standards as far as the data privacy is concerned. Because though it kind of ends up increasing the cost a little bit, but it's worth it, because we are not only focused on Indian market, we would like these products to be used globally as well. And I think in Europe you have a GDPR guidelines, so we are kind of maintaining our entire software products with respect to those guidelines.
So let's talk about Ayushman Bharat and the opportunity that it really presents, not just for you as a company, but for the industry. If you can sort of talk to our SMEs about what is the potential for, business and revenues really coming out of this massive initiative, if I can call it that.
Yeah, so I think the sheer scale of Ayushman Bharat is so exciting. Like one is going to, it's the largest health insurance scheme globally. I think more than the population of many countries we can imagine. I think the scheme per se looks very, very exciting, and what needs to be seen as is the execution part. And for a scheme of this magnitude to work, government would require multiple SME partners to pitch in there and do their bit. And I think technology is going to play a major role in the entire initiative. So when you are looking at connecting so many families and giving them the benefit of healthcare, ultimately you need to be connecting the multiple stakeholders of the healthcare ecosystem, which I'm sure government would be working on. But at the same time, I think what opens up as an opportunity for everybody in the healthcare ecosystem is that when you have such a large population coming into the ambit of getting healthcare per se, that itself is going to create a huge opportunity for everybody in the ecosystem.
All right. I want to now step away from healthcare and talk about two of the other verticals that you're involved in, which is BFSI and education, both of which booming in India, both of which presenting massive opportunities. Just walk us through your own plans there.
Yeah, so at Global Space, when we had started, we were since beginning focused on these three verticals. Only thing is healthcare, why it took the lead is because we saw a perceptible gap there. As far as BFSI is concerned, we have got two products which are again offshoot of our initial platform which we had built. And we are kind of working on the endpoint security space for the BFSI industry, and working with couple of large banks there. That's a very, very niche segment which we have identified, and we kind of keep on evolving our product in that space. So we came up with something called MakeBot, which is a STEAM learning platform where we have got robotics and AI education being imparted from standard third.
Okay.
And we are kind of K3 to K12 is what we are targeting. It's a independent vertical within Global Space, and the objective here is that I mean, once you induct a child to the entire thinking and the, I would say, innovation domain through this means, it is definitely going to help us create a lot of innovators from India.
Okay.
So that's about MakeBot.
All right. Last question then. You are listed on the SME exchange. Listing is something that we talk about very often for SMEs here on the show. What was your experience like? Would you recommend it for everyone? How did you sort of prepare yourself for listing? Just very briefly talk to our viewers about that.
So I think it's all about your ambition. So if every SME wants to be a large enterprise, and if somebody is having that ambition, then one should definitely consider listing. And I would recommend at an early stage, because it's not just about fundraising. I think what it really helps you is to structure your organization, put your systems, processes in
Yeah.
place, gets your corporate governance in place. So it's a lot easy to kind of change things when you're small, and manage that change when you're small. Then you becoming big, and then it becomes a pain.
Sure.
So we took almost an year since the time we decided to be on the SME exchange to actually get listed, because yes, when you start as an organization, you never think about many critical things which are needed when you grow up as an organization.
Sure.
So I think the process of listing helps you correct all those things from a basic documentation perspective. And post listing, I think one really gets a good platform. So basically it works a lot on the image of the organization. So I think your credibility goes up, and that's something which is very important for any organization. And
Okay.
you're prepared for the main board. So
All right, and which I understand you are going to be looking
Yes,
at
yes,
soon.
yes.
Krishna, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Time for a quick break. On the other side, Iris Business Solutions. What is the company up to? We'll give you a deep dive. That's coming up after the short break. To stay tuned.